You are an energetic being first and foremost, so the quality of your energy field is really important. It works like a filter, each part of the field enabling or preventing whatever is turning up in your life. This is the Future Self Energetics Show. I'm your host, Amanda Nelson, and I work in the body, mind and spirits community. I'm an award-winning master energist. That's a therapist that specialises in improving the quality of the energy fields that move in, through and around your body. If you want anything in your life to change, you have to begin with changing your energy field first. So my shows are a mixture of talk and therapy ideas, interviews and thought-provoking inspiration. They're all about energy fields, protection and connection. If there's a topic you'd love me to cover in my show, please email me, amanda@futureselfenergetics.com. And if you love the show here on UK Health Radio, please spread the word about it in your networks. Let me take the opportunity today to explain something that's happening energetically out on the infinite energy grids. A new, very large and very potent energetic portal has appeared, and it's affecting us here on planet Earth. It could be that some of the things that you're experiencing at the moment in your life are actually connected directly with the energy that's coming through this portal. Connected, I suppose, in many ways with the effects of that energy that's coming through on your energies. Well, all energies in the third dimension, actually. So if this is something that you'd like to find out more about, if it's something that interests you and you'd like to hear more about it, well, I'm delighted you're here. You're very welcome. I'm Amanda Nelson, and this is the Future Self Energetics Show on UK Health Radio. And on today's show, I'm sharing an energetic update for July 2023. So it's July 2023 now, but I'd like you to cast your mind back to February 2020, though. It's a time just before the COVID pandemic. And we were on the verge, I suppose, of the initial lockdowns. They were just starting to be introduced. During late February, actually it was the 22nd of February, because I remember it well, around the same time, that's when I became aware of a really significant energetic event that was taking place. A massive stargate had opened up on those infinite energy grids, and it was flooding, actually I should describe it more as bombarding, the third dimension with its high vibrational energies. I did speak about it on my show back then in February of 2020, actually. These new high vibrational energies were connecting with planet Earth head on, and they were compelling the low vibrations on our planet to rise. High vibrations pull up lower ones. And when high vibrations are pulling up those lower vibrations, it can only mean one thing: transformative change, feelings of unease as it processes. Actually, that's two things, isn't it? But you know what I mean. So high vibrations pulling up lower ones means two things: transformative change and feelings of unease as that change is in process. So just to remind you, the energies that were showering through this February 2020 Stargate had a predominantly divine feminine quality to them. Now, divine masculine and divine feminine energies coexist in all things. It's the way things are designed. They're in every one of us. This has nothing to do with biological sex or gender identity. I'm speaking of pure essence energy, divine masculine energy and its partner, divine feminine energy. Each and every one of us has to seek a balance, though, of energies that are both divine masculine and divine feminine for us to be able to achieve a sense of inner harmony. Why then was there such an influx of divine feminine energy around February of 2020 though? Well, it's because the divine masculine energy had become too dominant. Balance needed to be restored. Over the last 2,000 years or more, the balance between divine masculine and divine feminine energies had become eroded. It had become skewed heavily in the divine masculine's favour. Balance between the energies had been lost, and therefore it needed to be returned. The power of the divine feminine needed to be reasserted again, and it's why this Stargate opened up back in February of 2020, and why I believe it was bombarding our planet with those high vibrational divine feminine energies. Divine masculine energy is very hierarchical, and it's practical, and it's systematic and competitive, and it's pushy, and it gets things done. We'd never get anything done if we didn't have a bit of the divine masculine energy, and it is very focused. It's very systematic. It's about driving forward and achieving things. But unfortunately, these particular energies had become out of balance. They'd reached a point where they had become more controlling and oppressive than enabling. Divine feminine energies, they're different. The divine feminine vibrations embody qualities like nurturing, compassion, empathy, collaboration, connection, community. These energies emphasize intuition, emotional intelligence and feelings, creativity too. It's inclusive energy rather than divisive energy, and it's powerfully passive and enabling rather than forcefully aggressive and limiting. Divine feminine energies are often described as being more receptive and flowing, allowing for flexibility and adaptability and change, rather than dogma and process. So both divine masculine and divine feminine energies are absolutely essential. They serve different purposes in our life. Neither's better or worse. We need both. However, we need them to be in harmony if we're going to navigate our lives. We call on them as we need them, and then we weave our way in the relationship we have with them. One's no better or worse than the other, unless they grow out of balance. The key is always striving for that harmony, that balance. So the energetic shifts we've been experiencing since 2020 are intended to benefit all of us. They're showing us that in order to redress that balance, the balance that's out of balance, we have to help restore equilibrium. And that means to fully embrace the divine feminine qualities and give them as much value as we give divine masculine. I think the issue is that the divine feminine, as it comes in to reclaim some of the ground that she had lost, it does feel like chaos. It does create feelings of uncertainty around us all, because divine masculine has frameworks and structure and process, whereas the divine feminine doesn't. She loves what's born out of the chaos. She knows that for things to change, they have to allow themselves to be dismantled and then reassembled again. How are you feeling? I expect you recognise this in your life too. I speak to many people in and out of sessions who all say there's a bit of chaos that's around at the moment. I want control, and at the same time I know we're in the middle of something that's processing and that we have to allow it to flow. So then, these energetic shifts, they're inviting us to place equal value on qualities like empathy, cooperation, and getting creative, as we have been doing on competition and process and that dogma. So the rise of the divine feminine energies doesn't diminish the importance of the divine masculine energies, and the masculine energies ought not to be diminishing the rise of the divine feminine. What's happening though is with the divine masculine being out of balance with the divine feminine, and with that divine feminine energy sweeping in through this stargate, what it's doing is it's saying, look, let's encourage a harmonious integration of both. Let's allow us to embody a much more holistic approach to all things that are, with the divine masculine as well as the divine feminine properly represented and working together in harmony, hand in hand. So it's not about favouring one energy over the other, but rather recognising and appreciating the unique and special gifts that both divine masculine and divine feminine energies bring to the table. But it's also been a really bumpy ride, and it feels like the ride is nowhere near being over yet. I feel that the 2020 Stargate flooded us with so much divine feminine energy so fast and so relentlessly and so abundantly that it's feeling more than a little bit overwhelming for many people that I speak to. If you've been feeling the effects of these changes around you, know that you are not alone. It's part of a larger transformation happening on a really grand scale.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good. UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
So, what then of this new portal that I mentioned, the one that opened up on June the 1st? Well, this portal is showering vibrations of a completely different kind, and the vibrations that it's showering are cutting right across the pathway of the vibrations coming in from the 2020 Stargate. The vibrations that are crossing the divine feminine's pathway are diluting the effects of the influx of her energies. And it looks like it is in some ways slowing the transformation down. It's like pulling back on the reins of horses, slowing the pace down a bit to go from a run to a trot to a gentle walk. How does this feel? Well, it feels like things are slowing down, and there's like a demotivation that sets in when this is happening. So if you recognise this with you and you are thinking, where is all my motivation? You know, my get up and go has got up and went, as my mum used to say. Well, it could be that this is the result of this small portal that opened up on June the 1st, the energies of that cutting now across the vibrations of the 2020 Stargate. So where are we then? Well, with this demotivation, the result is that things that might have felt overwhelming start to feel a little bit more manageable for us. But things that we were driven to do by that divine masculine dynamic within us, well, they just seem, that impetus seems to be washed away. We want to be creative, you know, we want our creative peace and our creative space. But what's happening is that that's dominating now, rather than it being a dynamic progress. We're seeking calm rather than competition. And for those of us who are used to riding such masculine dynamic energies, we're going to feel like there's something in us that's not quite right. Why am I not feeling motivated? Why am I not feeling driven? Well, the answer is that the energies that are diluting what's coming through that original 2020 Stargate are slowing you right down with divine feminine. There's something too important to miss, though. It's something that's really important to note. This dilution isn't actually affecting every part of the energy that's flooding through that original stargate. It seems to be targeting specific kinds of vibrations and completely ignoring others. It seems to me that the energies that are still charging through unimpeded relate to lessons from incarnations. Now, whereas I don't feel that these are karmic in nature, they do involve different kinds of soul contracts, though. These energies that are hitting us head on have all sorts of contracts between souls involved in them, and they are completing spontaneously. And unless you can see them for what they are, unless you can interpret what form these contracts might be taking, well, you might feel as if you are being bombarded and overwhelmed by things that make you feel out of control, things that you don't understand, endings to things, and you don't know why that ending has happened. So this is a general recap. I've noticed to this point of the June portal that's associated with the energies that are hitting us right now, even now in July 2023 and for the foreseeable future. I don't know when this is going to finish. This is a recap of what I've noticed to this point, because of course this I might find more information and therefore be able to share that with you at a later date. So we're getting a lack of focus and drive on things that we would normally have lots of focus and lots of drive on, those things that take us forward. You've lost interest in them. It's a bit like a light switch has been turned right off inside of you. That's that feminine dynamic coming in right there. And you're going to see changeovers in your habits that are unexpected, changeovers in your friends that are unexpected, changeovers in career pathways. They might be unexpected, perhaps changes in your financial circumstances too. When these contracts complete, they're going to come like windfalls out of nowhere, plop, completing spontaneously of their own accord. Don't try and work out how they have just completed. Just focus on the fact that they have. Accept that contracts, soul contracts, are completing all around you. Some of those contracts are going to be associated with lessons you learned from past incarnations. And some are going to be associated with lessons you have yet to learn from those incarnations. And the completions that are happening, body, mind, and or spirit, will give you a sense of knowing that something's changing. It might be that you know that something has needed to change, but you might not be certain about the direction of where you're going. You might not be certain about what to do or how to respond as the changes happen. And this feeling tells you it's time to move forward, it's time to make a choice. But within it, there's an uncertainty about where to go next, what choice to make. It's a bit of a paradox, but it's part of the process now that this new energy is diluting things to become. What you might be experiencing then is a mix of unexpected completions, windfall opportunities, alongside unresolved issues and lessons from past lives coming in to be addressed. You won't know how it's best to move forward with them though, and that creates confusion, and without the drive that you would have from the masculine dynamic, with the empowerment from the feminine, the divine feminine energies there instead of drive, what you're going to find is that actually you want to hold back. Instead of pushing forward, you want to allow yourself much more creative expression time. Maybe you just don't feel motivated at all to do anything. So you won't know how is the best way to move forward. And even if you did, you might find that you don't want to move yourself forward. It creates confusion and a kind of zzz feeling in your energy field. It'll rub your tail feathers up the wrong way. Now, there's another interesting aspect that I've noticed. Alongside the predominance of energies that relate to positive and negative aspects of past incarnations, there's a shift happening. Instead of these completions all being about clearing past incarnations once and for all, the things that we should have learned but we hadn't yet learned, instead of clearing past incarnations once and for all, we're actually being directed much more to prepare for our next incarnation instead. This is a really new dynamic. It's one that I haven't seen so clearly in so many energy fields before. So it's about balancing the present and investing in the future, taking care of what's happening now while preparing for what's to come, being prepared. So this raises a question. Where then, after spending so many years working on, in inverted commas, our stuff, where do we now focus our attention? Should we continue to look back, to release our shadows and to work on the issues and the challenges and the emotions that in some ways have defined us and that remain unresolved? Or do we shift, do we pivot our focus towards creating a better present and a much more enlightened and transformative future instead? I don't want to diminish the importance of the work that you or I do in order to release ourselves from the challenges that we've experienced in the past. That's not what I'm saying. But interestingly, these June energies are turning our heads away from an obsession in some ways with coming to terms with the past, of working with the past, of focusing on the past. And instead, these energies want us to focus now on what is directly in front of us. The energies are setting us up to transform and find up-leveling by being future-focused rather than past-focused. So let's acknowledge our past, but not carry them into our future. This is what this June gateway, this June portal is asking us to step into. This is the energy that it's asking us to join it in. So let's honour the challenges that we have overcome, but let's not create a future, it says, filled with the same hurdles and barriers. So if we take a moment then to really honour where you once were and to honour the journey that you have been on and the amazing progress that you have made. However, let's also embrace the opportunity of a beautiful feminine, a divine feminine momentum that pulls you forward to transformation rather than pushes you towards it based on what happened in the past. So the major stargate of 2020 is showering high vibrational, divine feminine energy into the third dimension. And this energy is now being diluted, in the main, by energies flowing in from a portal that appeared in June 2023. And the dilution is in some ways a blessed relief, but it is not diluting all of the energies. So the energies that remain untouched are hitting us just as hard as ever. These are completing contracts of all times, and these contracts are ending boom, 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 and these completions come from nowhere, and you know that you wish to transform and move forward, but you can't. You don't have the motivation to do that yet, and at the same time you realise that it's time to be pulled into the future rather than to push yourself out of the past. So how then would I recommend that you handle this? Well, my advice really is to sit in the energy. Do absolutely nothing apart from allow yourself to observe it. And based on a lot of the things that I've shared with you today, I'm hoping that what you'll be able to do is to observe it a lot more completely. So if you're being caught up in a cross current of energy between a stargate and a portal, my best advice is just to sit tight and let the energies around you change as they need to before you then choose to make a move. If you are not motivated, then accept during this phase, however long this phase is, but during this phase of whatever is taking place energetically, your role is merely to allow, to be in flow and remain there. Step into a divine feminine stance. Be connected. Be allowing. It's the divine feminine energies, after all, that are still flooding into your field. Fighting against them, trying to push against them with divine masculine responses will only make matters worse. Step into a space of allowing. So observe, don't judge. Observe the change in the landscape around you. Don't judge your part in the change that's taking place. Now, one other thing, this may not be all about you at all. It will feel as if it's about you, but actually you are part of the landscape. You're not entirely the landscape. So accept that the landscape that relates to your life is changing, and also that the landscape that relates to all those around you is changing also. All you need to do is to sit in the vibrations and not battle the changes that are happening, those transformations that are happening around you. When the time is right to bring your creative contribution, for you to be fully lit up and moving forward, you will be picked up by those energies and you'll be taken in the direction that you need to travel in. It's the way of the energy that's around us at the moment. So don't force yourself. Empower yourself instead.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good. UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
That's it for another show this week. I'm thrilled that you dropped by. I present Future Self Energetics show every week for UK Health Radio, and I'd be delighted to spend more time with you next week, so do tune in. The world of energy is amazing, and it's magical and it's mysterious, and there's always so much for us to explore about it. You have a vital connection to a web of energy fields around you. Use that connection for your benefit. I've been working with vibrational energetics all my life, and I know that when you improve your energy field, you can up-level any part of your life. You can find out more about me, my courses, and Future Self Energetics at my lifestyle website, beyondthegoldenegg.com. I'm also on Twitter. You can find me at Ask Amanda Nelson. Focus on the quality of the energy in your energy field. Focus on your entire energy field every single day, because a great energy field has the potential to change anything. I'm looking forward to connecting with you again next week. Love to you and yours. Bye-bye.